Hi folks, I hope you're all okay. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, my name's Jean. It is mostly unboxings that I do on this channel, and that's what I've got for you today. So I hope you can stick around until the end, and I hope you enjoy watching. So I got a little bit behind with producing videos last month. So I've got this one, and there's going to be another one coming out after this for a different product. But I just need to say a little bit of a disclaimer here. I did start trying to do this video yesterday, so the box is actually open and I have seen what's inside it, but it's going to be your first look, so I hope that's not too disappointing. I'll show you what I did with the previous month's supplies as well, which might give you a little bit of a clue as to what it is that we're going to be seeing today. It is the September, now we're in October, ScrawlrBox. So let's get on with it, shall we? I kind of wrecked it a little bit, opening everything up and then deleting the recording that I'd made, because I thought I was going to get disturbed doing it, which I didn't actually, but you know, these things happen. Anyway, let's see if I can manage to not knock stuff over. So, as I said, this is a ScrawlrBox for September 2025, and we've got ScrawlrZine number 121 here. ScrawlrBox, if you haven't seen one of my videos before or any others relating to ScrawlrBox, it's a monthly curated box of art supplies, and you don't know what's in it until it arrives, unless anybody on any of the other social media sites lets it out as soon as they get their box. But I've had this one for a couple of weeks and I've just not got round to filming it yet. Okay, so as I say, ScrawlrZine number 121. Sorry, I've got a really itchy nose. The print from the September featured artist is this one, and it's by Matty Burnham, and it says he's an ink and watercolour illustrator, originally from Cumbria, now living near Leeds. We've got his Instagram and his website on here, so if any of you want to see any more of his work, I will put that down in the info block below, and you can have a look at those if you want to. So let's just pop that to one side. I will also add the recommended retail prices for these supplies downstairs as well, because I have to look that up separately, and I haven't done that yet. So we have got a list of scroll contents here. We have a paintbrush for watercolours, which is a Princeton Aqua Elite number 4 with a round head. That's that one. Sorry if this side of my face keeps lighting up. The screen on the computer keeps going dark and then coming light again as the box with the supplies jiggles my mouse. Okay, we have a Walker's Nonsuch milk chocolate covered toffee, which is the September sweetie of the month. There is a pack of Archer's Aquarelle Watercolour Paper. It's a 3-sheet A5 discovery pack, so that's going to be interesting to use. I don't know if it's any different to any other type of watercolour paper yet, but it says it's a variety of high quality surfaces made for wet mediums, and there's a little bit of a potted history on the front of the pack here about Archers, and they were founded in 1492, so it's a very old company and they should know what they're on about. We'll see what that's like when I get going with that. Righty-ho. we've got this, just keeps wanting to say this month, we've got the September sticker here. Okay, next up there is a Pentel Pointliner in 0.3 and it's water and fade resistant. So this would be good for sketching rather than using a pencil, because this is going to be more precise because you can't rub it out. So by default I'm going to need to be more careful when I'm drawing using this. And that's the tip of that, so you can see how fine that is. And then we have 3 tubes of watercolour. These are by Rowney, and we've got ultramarine blue dark, cadmium red hue, and yellow ochre. So that's them. Good thing with watercolours is when you're using them with the palette, if you finish the bit that you're doing or you break off from your work and you go back to it later, you can reactivate the dried up paint just with a bit of water and carry on where you left off without having to worry about mixing fresh again. Okay, so in here we've got a sit down with Matty Burnham, a couple of pages of a Q&A. We've got some scrawler tips about swatching, watercolour essentials, ratios and values, soften your edges, a little bit on more control. We've got wet on dry and wet on wet, and there's a bit about best of both as well, so that's going to be an interesting technique to try. That one's called charging. And it says it's a technique where you use your wet to dry, but then wet on wet to add in purposeful blooms of pigment, but only in one area / object. Once you have painted on your desired paint, you can add in a darker colour or more pigment of the same colour to one area of what you have laid down to charge that area with more colour. It will bloom out and result in a transition of colour. You can't really control how it blooms out, but that's the beauty of this technique. So that's going to be an interesting one to try. And that's this little bit here. Okay. So we've got a couple of pages of a deep dive here, how to use Aquarelle watercolours. And that goes through a 3-step process. Then we've got a couple of pages of artist's advice and Matty's top tip. So that's that. Then we've got scroll gallery pictures from ScrawlrBox 119, and the prompt for that was To Infinity and Beyond. I showed my effort in last month in the video that I made with the August supplies in the last video. I'm never very keen on what I make because I always get a better picture of what it's meant to look like in my head, but it never quite comes out. Maybe I should, in fact I definitely should, take more time to practice. But we've got some of the pictures that people have submitted there for To Infinity and Beyond. And I remember saying in that video that it wouldn't surprise me if there were lots of Toy Story themed pictures, but there isn't here, and that's really quite nice. Then we've got box 119 Scrawler top 3. The artists here are called Eva, Elsa and Jan Smith, and that's some of their works. Got a little bit about joining our Scrawler community on Facebook, and they also do a monthly video on using the supplies in that particular box. So we've got on the next page here a bit about Scrawler Stash, talking to Sean Sutherland Kirby, and that one's there. And then right at the end, we've got cannot be sustainable. And to that, I would say absolutely, depending on which way you use it and go forward with it into the future. But we've got a bit here about Nick Gentry, and that's all there. And we've also got the September prompt here. The challenge is Happy Place. So that's going to be an interesting one to try. Also, I haven't actually started doing it yet, and we are on the 3rd of October with this particular video that I'm doing now. The Inktober challenges have come out as well, so that's something that I keep tending to look at, and I've got a list of prompts. I've just not done anything with them yet, so yeah, I'm being a bit rubbish lately, so I need to give myself a bit of a kick up the bum and get going with that too. So, and yes, I've got the card pad that came with the August ScrawlrBox, and my attempt at doing something. I had a lot of different ideas. I wanted to try and do what I did. It didn't quite turn out as I wanted it to. So yeah, I got a bit disappointed with that, because I spent, although it doesn't look like it, I spent a lot of time working on it, and it's, yeah, I'm not sure if it needs more work or what, but yeah, it didn't quite turn out as I wanted, and that's in this pad here. I know that on the challenge they say to try and only use what you get in your box, and I did, but I also added to it a while ago. I bought a box of metallic watercolour half pans, and they are so nice to use. They're really, really pretty. Can I see the box here? Let me have a look, and if I can, I'll show it you. Yep, there it is. Okay, so back in the mists of time, which could be last year, it could be the year before, I can't quite remember, when I first started buying stuff on Temu. This was one of the things that I bought. Okay, so it's got a foam padding over the top of the pans, and that's them. You can see how glittery they are there. In fact, I'll put my little side light on. Just give me a sec. So, but yeah, they're really, really nice to work with as well. I really enjoyed using them. Trying to imagine a colour that might represent space. It was proving a bit difficult to get the colour I wanted with the acrylic markers that came in the August box. So I tried mixing them up, adding them together to try and make different blends, and adding water to them on the palette so that they would become like a wash. And the frustrating thing about doing it that way was if I didn't want colours to bleed into each other, which they sort of started doing, I had to wait between each layer, and so it took a lot longer than I anticipated it would. So it's on this A5 white card pad, which, as I say, came in the August ScrawlrBox. And the prompt was Zodiac. There were a couple of different themes that I could have used. One of them would have probably been really inappropriate and would have included a person in the past that was not a good person, and saying that the prompt was Zodiac should give you a hint as to what that would be. So I thought about it a bit more, and I thought I would use my birth sign to try and make something. I was going to use one of the old astrological pictures of my birth sign and try and tweak that a little bit, and I was going to try and superimpose the stars in it as well that make up my birth sign, which, if you're interested, is Aquarius. But when I looked online, there was so many different interpretations of it. Some of them were the same, yeah, but different websites had got different constellations, basically, and it was a bit weird to try and think, you know, like, so which is the right one? But the one that I've got on here is the one that I eventually went with. I didn't try doing the drawing over the top of it, but that is something I might try to add to it at a little bit of a later date. So here is my interpretation, and you can see how that's shiny from using my metallic watercolours. So there you go. You can just about, if I hold it at that angle, you can just about make out the constellation there. So I kind of had fun doing that, and I kind of didn't. Never mind, eh? I might take that prompt a little bit later and try it again. I don't know. But yes, my intention now is to think what I can do with the September prompt and see what comes out of that. Anyway, I think I've been yapping a bit long enough for this video. We're going on for 20 minutes into it. Very quick weather forecast is chucking it down outside. It's wet and nasty. I've not been outdoors yet. It's probably cold. If it's not cold, it's going to be really humid. It's a little bit windy. I can see the cherry tree flapping about at the top of the garden. And yeah, it just don't look very nice. I'm going out a little bit later on to the theatre with a friend, so that should be interesting. We'll see how that goes. And I'm going to close this video now. So thank you for coming along, folks. I hope you've managed to stay to the end, and I hope I've not bored you too much. Thank you for being here and for making this what it is. If this is your first time watching, you've enjoyed what you've seen, just drop me a like, please. If you're not a member of this page, you know, subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and you get to see a bit more of my stuff as I do it. And yeah, that's about all I can say. Thanks for coming. If you drop me a comment, I will do my best to try and respond quickly to it, but no guarantees. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks, everyone. See you later. Bye.